created hysteria. It's a generation of hysteria. It's sometimes interesting to look at what the underlying emotion is that is causing the behavior. What would lead to that behavior? What set of beliefs would lead to that behavior? And the inability to see that, we saw in the opioid crisis of just a few years before that doctors were being persuaded to prescribe opioids that they knew would be addictive and dangerous to an alarming degree.
And
so that's the modality.
Die. They knew people were going to die. They knew it. They had a number. They knew it. There's like a certain percentage of these people are going to die. So let's keep doing it. Let's keep selling it, and let's profit off these people dying. Let's profit off these people's despair, because we have a product, and that product is going to make us a lot of money. And that's what they did. And that's what they've done with everything. And, you could get real cynical, but I think that's what they've always done. I think that's what they did with Vioxx. That's what they did with the Opiod Crisis. I think that's what they did with many, many different ways where they could justify making enormous amounts of profit at the expense of a bunch of people dying.
I've heard a few things about systems that help me to understand why such a thing might be possible. I heard one time that the CIA, no one person knows what's going on. Like, it's so diffuse. There are so many operations, so many things running concurrently that there isn't a person like the head of the CIA that you can go to and say, well, what's going on? Like, it's too diffuse. I also heard a person like Yanis Varoufakis. He was like one of the leaders of Syriza when after 2008, Greece had some wacky moment where they elected an extremist party, left-wing extremist party actually, that considered extreme, that said we're not paying back all of that banking debt. We're not going to pay it back. And the people, of course, of Greece voted for them. And then the EU called in that government once they won the election and said, "You fucking well are paying back that money. You can't make that decision. You don't have that authority." And this guy Yanis Varoufakis, who's like a left-wing politician, said that he realised that the person at the EU that he was talking to didn't have any power. They only have the power that role affords them. The system is essentially functioning on its own. There is no individual that can go, "Oh yeah, all right, then don't pay back the money." There is no person that can tell you exactly what the CIA is doing. So it's like a sort of a set of coordinates which behind it has an energy that's pushing towards a particular agenda, the kind of ones that all of us can identify: financial agenda, dominion, those kind of identifiable agenda. But the system is self-sustaining, self-maintaining. The system excludes the possibility for disruption. It's almost like it already functions how an algorithm would function. It doesn't afford radicalism. It doesn't afford the intervention of democracy. When people's will is expressed, the will is delegitimized. When there is a sort of a popular uprising, then the uprising itself is discredited. 20, 30 years ago, it would have been the left in Latin America, Central America, like the deposing and destabilizing nations there. Now it's like even domestically, like figures like from the presumed right, like Trump, are discredited. And again, like I've got, just to clarify, of course, it's not someone that I would ally myself with enormously. But what I'm saying is that the system has clearly become more allied with a particular aspect of the establishment. Let's call it the liberal establishment, although it feels to me that it can function perfectly well regardless of which political parties in there.
I think it's interchangeable.